All right, welcome back to 10 Away, the podcast with two brothers. Talk about NASCAR. Today it's the dynamic duo back again. Welcome back.
Well, we do talk about NASCAR. I
Yeah,
work in it.
yeah, and I watch it. So,
Owen's a consumer.
yeah, I'm pretty good at it too. I'm on time most of the time, except for last week. Um, Anyways, let's get into the intro right away before we get into the busy Kansas weekend that we had. But we haven't done this yet. We did my version, and I'm almost positive we haven't done yours. We did it on a scrapped episode, but we're gonna bring it back now. I want you to build out your perfect NASCAR video game in honor of NASCAR 25 coming out, I think this coming week. It's very close. I know that.
It's like a
Um,
week and a half. Yeah.
yeah,
Within the next 2 weeks, I think it comes out.
I haven't pulled the trigger on pre-ordering it. I'm like torn, but anyways, let's build out your video game. So, what is your favorite NASCAR video game for one?
Favorite NASCAR video game. It's a toss up for me. I would go anywhere from like NASCAR '03, '04, '05 to up to '07, '08. There's
Man,
like a 6 year run that I feel like every year we bought the game. My best memory from playing the game, and this is the one I probably would pick, was NASCAR '06. I pre-ordered it however many days or a week or two in advance before it came out. I was like 12 years old at the time. So I had just like saved enough money to get the game. At the time, the game only cost like $50. I remember I went and pre-ordered it and saw the lady at GameStop at the time. I was like, "Hey, I want to pre-order the game," paid her. And then I remember whenever it came out in like August of
yeah.
that year, July, something like that. She said, "Hey," like she calls me and she says, "Hey, is this for Blake Hickman? Your game is ready to be picked up." And I was like, "Cool." So I asked
Someone's
mom to
calling a
take me.
minor. That's weird.
I know, what a pedophile. Um, but I had to ask mom or dad to drive me to the GameStop to pick
Yeah.
up the game. And then I remember coming home and the introduction was, I think it was Jimmy wrecking in the infield, but it was like the Ryan Newman wreck where the axle comes off in Daytona,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you learned how to swap cars and stuff and like help
Yeah.
your teammate.
I forget what that feature was called, but that was a fun feature.
But really cool feature. The introduction was cool, but I remember looking at it, I'm like, why is Ryan Newman's wreck, but it's Jimmy Johnson? Long
Yeah.
story short, a lot of fun. I guess it was technically 2005. I might have been 11 because each game was like the next year's. It was like
Yeah.
it came out, if it was 2005, it was the '06 edition came out. But yeah, I think my favorite was '06. I played a lot of '07, even into '08 because I remember '08 I played a lot of the Car Tomorrow and it was just different, but it
Yeah.
wasn't bad. Some good songs were on the soundtrack.
Man, I was
And
thinking about a song the other day that was on one of those, and I cannot remember the name. It was
I
not
even
Magic.
played '09. I think
Yeah.
'09 was kind of my like farewell tour to to NASCAR games because I remember after that I got big into playing Call of Duty. So I didn't play as much NASCAR. And it was the last year Jeff Gordon was on the cover in like his regular flame scheme. And it was one of the car tomorrows. I think like sometime last year or early this year, I even hooked up the 360 and put that game in and played it on my TV just for old time's sake. So it was a good time. But yeah, I mean there's 5 or 6 years of great games, but I think my favorite memory was the '06 era. Um, fun game, fun controls, cool introduction. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson on the cover, and I thought that was pretty cool. So Total Team Controls, I think what it was called.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the cover, what driver, and we'll do two parts. Let's do current driver and then just overall driver would you put on the cover of your game?
So current driver, I'd probably go Denny. Probably go Denny on the cover. If not Denny Larson, and then if I did like a the Golden Edition or something, I put Dale Senior on it.
Was Dale ever on a the cover of a game?
I don't think so. I don't know if the
Yeah.
gaming world really was here
I want to say maybe he
until
was maybe on the first. I'm not sure. I'm not going to talk like a no. But yeah, I think I kind of said some of the same thing. Denny and Larson are two that, and even you can make an argument for Logano. But in the way of just superstars, Chase Elliott's also another one you can throw in there of modern day drivers. But in the way of like overall stats and name, Larson or Hamlin would be up there. Um, but yeah, yeah, it would be pretty cool. Now, what features would you bring back? So it has to be a pre-existing feature.
Mm,
You talked about the
maybe some fantasy tracks,
fantasy
which
tracks are so cool.
iRacing has one fantasy track. It's literally the iRacing track, and it's kind of like
Is it like
I
an
haven't
oval
bought
or
it. I haven't bought it. It's technically not.
if it's
I
not an
guess
oval, I don't really want to know about it.
I think it's technically considered an oval. It's like Martinsville on steroids. It's got banking.
Oh, that's fun.
So I
Yeah.
haven't played it. I've seen it. I've looked at it and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play it that bad to buy it, but maybe one day I will.
It's not necessarily a fantasy track, but like the what was it? Was it '03? It was one of the EA Sports games that did the half beach, the NASCAR beach, Daytona Beach
Dirt to
track.
Daytona?
No, no, no.
Are
It
you talking about a
was
game?
yeah, it was they had the Daytona like the first track,
Oh,
NASCAR
you're
track.
talking about like the first track that they ran in Daytona on the beach that also is
Yeah.
part like
I remember it being
highway road.
so hard to race on because it was just so unnatural. But like, well, I mean, it's a game, but like, it was just so weird to race on. I just liked racing on it because it was fun. There were several tracks that they had in those games that I was like, I would like to do that one again. I really do want to get like an older system just to be able to boot up some old games, but I'm kind of torn on what to buy because
Yeah.
there's some that may be PS2 exclusive or Xbox exclusive, or the Wii can kind of capture all of the NASCAR stuff and Mario stuff I want to play, but. Um, now what features would you add?
Ooh.
Yeah, you
I
said
don't
what
really
you would
know.
add on the live, and I liked it. And then I also said one that I
The
thought of later
the
that I
one
liked.
I pitched this idea to my buddy Joey years ago, and I was like, they need to make a NASCAR game where you live the life of a driver, which is like
Yeah.
you can do like fast forward through like practices or meetings, but you get to go and wander around in each track.
In like Concord,
It-
North Carolina. You just get to
You get
wander
to
around.
go wander around and you can fast travel to like your race shop, and then you're like, oh, okay, go to the racetrack. Like live the day in the life or the week of what a NASCAR driver feels. Like walk around in the garage area, walk around over to the motorhome, like go in and get sleep or do interviews, whatever.
You have
I
to
just think that
race
would
to
be
beat
so
traffic
cool.
on 77.
I just think that'd be so cool.
It would
I
be
just think
cool.
it'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I mean, I'm always a sucker for those open world kind of games like that. And yeah, that would be really cool. Um, yeah, the one feature I added to my answer when I did it the second time around was being able to customize, like custom make a track. And I think that would be
Yeah,
really cool. Kind of like
like
how
that.
in Madden you used to be able to like make your own stadium when you're making your own team. I thought that was really cool. Also, Old Spice Road Course, that will throw you back. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
I think I do remember Old Spice Road Course.
Yeah, that one was always really cool. And the one that
What was that one that was like a football field
that's
stadium?
literally what I
It
was
was
about
like
to say.
the wheel and modified car. That was the only one you could
Yeah.
drive on it.
And I would turn off the red flags or whatever you could turn off to where you could just like go as hard as you want in the pits. And I would really just race in the pits most of the time. But I think you couldn't do the whole thing because you get spit back out normally. But no, I always thought that was such a cool track. Yeah, again, those fantasy tracks were awesome. But last question here, what song would you put into the game?
Ooh,
I said Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf. Be
no.
sick.
No,
Listen, you hear that intro and you're like, I'm about to race the game, and then you realize
I'm going
you're
Somewhere I
driving.
Belong by Linkin Park.
I mean, that's a bit like emo.
I mean,
I guess that's
as
a good one, but
I
like,
mean, imagine if you load into NASCAR 25 and it like blasts Somewhere I Belong is like your
or
introduction song.
Numb Encore. That would be a good one. That
Like
would be
some
a good one.
Linkin Park, I'd probably go some AC/DC,
Hmm.
maybe some Def Leppard. Um,
Skrillex, right? We're on the
I would be
same
down
wavelength.
for it.
Yeah,
I
just
would go for it.
some crazy dubstep while you do a 500 lap race around Bristol.
I've actually driven iRacing while blasting music in this because I turned
Yeah,
down the car volume. I'm just sitting there racing, listening to whatever comes on.
you get the muscle
It's
memory
actually a lot
going.
of fun. Yeah,
Well, let's wrap up the intro and let's get into Kansas. So, see you in a
let's
second.
do it. Breaks over.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Kansas in the books. Yeah, it was just an Xfinity and Cup weekend, but man, was it a good weekend. I actually another weekend where I would say the Cup race was better than the Xfinity or Trek race, in my opinion, but because usually it's like the other way around. But let's jump into the Xfinity race where Brendan Jones takes
Yeah.
the cake. And my scheme shout outs real quick is the 99 car. and the 70. I thought the 70 was actually pretty cool. I saw it like once or twice. I
Good
liked it
enough
when
for
I saw
you?
it. Yeah. And then a 99 had like that Law and Order scheme. It kind of looked good the more I looked at it. But
Okay.
yeah, so tell us about your Xfinity weekend on the Clement or yeah, Jeremy Clement's car.
Man,
Yeah, I saw y'all
I
finish what,
think
32nd?
geez, Owen, thanks. Yep. We really
The
wanted to.
listeners need to know.
We did not have the pace. Jeremy, it was an odd weekend overall. It was odd that we qualified 25th.
Yeah.
That's not usually where we qualify. Usually we qualify around 20th. A really good weekend is like 17th, 18th. Qualified 25th, so we were like, okay, we're a little slow. And then the setup, pace of the car, speed, we're not really sure, but like Jeremy wasn't coming over the radio saying, "Man, this car's really bad." He was kind of chill. He's like, "Man, I can't get it to turn." Um, I guess setup or aero, something about it. It just did not want to perform
Yeah.
for us. Pit stop wise, I mean, our first stop was kind of junk. I had some lug nuts on the left front that just did not want to come off. They were kind of rounded off, but the second and third stops were a little bit better. But we had to make a lot of adjustments. We were trying to do track bar and wedge on I think both sides for both the second and third stop just to try to help, and it didn't seem to really do a whole lot. So it was one of those weekends where just the setup was a miss or something's wrong with the car, that I guess they'll try to dissect when they take it back to the shop and stuff. So
Yeah.
is what it is, but just one of those weekends where we just did not have much speed.
Now is Kansas one that yeah, like y'all have a team, y'all as a team kind of have circled as like a potentially like a good race for y'all, or is it always just kind of like a
Um,
mid-pack day or
I
whatever?
honestly probably would have thought we'd run better at Kansas than we would have at Bristol. Like if you'd asked me like, "Hey, you're going to finish ninth between one of these two tracks," I
You
would
would
have said
just
I probably would circle Kansas, but it ended up being
mm,
Bristol. But for some reason this past weekend we just did not have
yeah.
the speed. It was just not there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Yeah, it was weird because I didn't really see much of y'all all day, and then I saw y'all when I left down. I was like, oh, something's going on. Like, I just thought maybe y'all had hit the wall or something, but yeah, just it was a quiet day and in the unfortunate way as well. But another unfortunate driver would be I would consider Justin Allgaier. Kind of just dominates the day, the best car in my opinion overall, but strategy doesn't play out
If
their way.
if the 7 wasn't going to win, I think the 20 had the other best car. So I
Yeah.
think between the two cars, one of the best ones won.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just unfortunate with the wreck towards the end where the seven just didn't gamble with the tires. They played it safe, 4 points reasons, and it was a good call. Like it wasn't a bad call, but it was just got sucked up and quickly lost ground and just maintained and finished 13th, I think. So honestly, with how many laps they had to go, I would have thought they would have gone back farther, but they were able to like equal out the tires or at some point or something. But yeah, I was sitting there watching the end of the race and I felt like I had missed something. I was like, where's the seven at? Like we just restarted. Where'd it go? And I think I just had missed the restart and I was like, oh, he must have wrecked or something again. Um, but yeah, the 48 got into the 19, causing the 19 to have a big hit. And I wouldn't say, I think it was just a bad wrong place kind of situation. I don't think the 48 was intentionally doing anything, but also like he just kind of seemingly got tight out of two and just came up and washed up into the 19 and yeah, unfortunate hit for the 19 as well when he was having a pretty solid day. He doesn't get to run all these. He's not a full-time driver and if he's very part-time on that note, but yeah, unfortunate for that. But you got a question? You look like you got something.
No, I actually didn't know until a second ago that they couldn't hear you, so I had to
Well,
fix
that's a good thing.
that.
Yeah. That is a good thing. Now, just watch them all leave. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about the Xfinity race. It was pretty calm, pretty tame. I mean, the 19 was like the biggest wreck. I mean, other than who was it earlier? Jeb Burton got, he hit the wall and just kind of ruined his day. But like,
Man,
other
the
than that,
27 hit the wall and still finished better than us, if that tells you how our day went.
yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at the people who did have a good day besides Brandon Jones. Connor Zilic breaks a record with the second place finish. He has now had 16 consecutive top fives, breaking the record set by I can't remember the name, but that's been decades old. But Austin Hill gets a quiet third place. He is b below the cut
Is
line
below the
still.
cutoff line.
Yeah, so he's not bad at road courses by any means, but I mean, with the Zilic in the
How
mix,
many
it's good.
points out is he?
I don't have it pulled up right now. You want to pull it up? But
Sure.
let's pull it up so we can look at it right before we move on to the cup races. But I'll keep going through the top 10 while you do that. But a lot of like quiet drivers for some reason. I don't know why, but like Sheldon Creed crept up on me. Taylor Gray, he was my pick to win. I started off the race pretty good, leading for a while, but then obviously the seven took over, and then yeah, like I said, the 48 got into the 19. That didn't slow him down. He came home to finish eighth. And then Brendan Queen, he's qualified fourth, so good qualifying effort. But I think this was like his second Xfinity race, and he finishes ninth. So
Yeah, I
really
saw he
good.
also he
And he's
started the race at Bristol as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So he's
Um,
in he's in the mix of the 11 car drivers right now.
so Austin Hill is 7 points behind his teammate, Jesse
Jesse,
Love.
yeah, and is
Because it's
Jesse.
the round of eight. Jesse's got 2,065 points. Nick Sanchez has 2,060, so he's five out, and then Austin Hill has 2,058 points, so he's
What are
minus
you
seven.
looking at? Why don't you just get the actual minus numbers? Let them do the math for
It
you.
just I can't. That's what pulls up, so
My
that's what we got.
goodness. You're asking our fans to do math. But yeah, no, a great day for Brendan Queen. Really put on an impressive run. I mean, as some drivers, you would have a standard of finish better than you qualified, but for someone like Brendan Queen, also, I didn't know he was practically my age. He's like 27. Did not know
I
that.
I knew he was like in his mid 20s.
He looks early 20s, maybe late teens. I
Same.
mean, yeah. But yeah, then the last driver we have to shout out, Dean Thompson, qualified well, finishes 10th. But yeah, really, solid day out of them. I think he hit the
Good
wall
job.
like once or twice, but yeah, still managed
Good
to have a good
job,
time.
Gaddy,
One,
putting
oh,
fuel in
is that
that
what you're
car.
using? Um, One driver who kind of just want to mention was Raja Karuth. He qualified like eighth or ninth, but ended up finishing like 18th just after the first stage. Just never really could get back to where they started, and just kind of stayed back by the mid-teens, 20s or so. But like, yeah, it was kind of a good performance in qualifying, and he was able to get some good experience from what it seemed like. But yeah, I kind of want to see more out of him. It was kind of interesting to see him in some good equipment and see how he can handle it. But yeah, as you said, we'll be going into the Roval. We'll make our predictions later. But yeah, a lot of drivers. Who else is beneath the cut line besides it's Gray and somebody
Let's
else?
see.
It was
So it's Nick Sanchez, Austin Hill, Harrison Burton, Sammy Smith.
Oh, I thought Gray was below. Okay. Yeah. Sammy Smith being the lowest. I'm assuming you read that in order.
So it is Connor Zilic is P1, Justin Allgaier is P2, Sam Mayer's P3, Brandon Jones P4, P5 is Taylor Gray, P6 is Sheldon
Wow.
Creed,
I had that
7 is
way off.
Carson Kvapil, and 8 is Jesse Love.
I don't know where I
So
was
of
looking.
those drivers that are below the cut line, the one that I think that could maybe make a push, oh man, probably Austin Hill.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if Nick Sanchez is that great at road courses.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember his previous road course races. I want to say he does fine, but like good enough to get through this round, I'm not sure. Sammy
Right.
Smith can be kind of a quiet driver. He can pull off some solid quiet days, but yeah, if I had to bet on any of those four below, I would say Austin Hill. He has notable road course experience and has won and even been in the mix several times with good drivers. So we'll see how Zilic does. I'm sure there'll be some desperation in this Roval race coming up on both, or maybe all three series. So I'm kind of interested to watch it. I don't know if I'll be able to because I'll be on a road trip, but hopefully we'll be able to watch it. But let's get into the cup race where my wife was screaming because she loves Chase Elliott, said by the car she bought this weekend, which I made a deal with her because we went to Target. We saw this car. I said, "You want to buy it?" She bought it, which it was like his Hooters win from Texas last year. And I said, hey, if Elliott wins this race, talking about Kansas, if Elliott wins this race, you have to go buy his car again or buy this car as well. And so we'll be on the
There
lookout
you
for
go.
that Kelly Blue Book. And which, as I said, Elliott wins. And then I'm also going to say he's a part of my scheme shoutouts. I like that Kelly Blue Book car a lot. I like the 24,
The
the
24 was
24.
pretty sweet.
I'm not, again, I've said this before, I'm not huge in like American flags. For some reason, a team like Hendrick can pull it off. I don't know why. It worked for me. Maybe it's something about that 24, but also one that pulled off for me was the 51. I think I'm always gonna like that Evil Knievel, whatever that. I think that
Okay.
was it's that look at least. I'm not quite sure what the sponsor.
I don't think I saw it because when I turned on the race, he was already out of the
Yeah,
race.
he had wrecked pretty early. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was stage one or something. But yeah, Cup race was really good. Kansas delivers again. I mean, it was pretty quiet throughout the first couple stages. I mean, so a lot of good natural racing, a lot of good just uh, Kansas is so fun to watch because of the momentum drivers build up to make a pass, and if they don't make it, then um, it takes them another couple laps to get it back up, and it's just so fun to watch that accordion effect, and I don't know, I just really look forward to Kansas every time now.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
yeah, and then the tire strategy turned into something interesting because it was a new what it was a right or left side tires. One of the sides was new. And yeah, it was who was it that made the bold? Um, it might have been no, was it Briscoe? It was Chase Briscoe that he did. They were the
Yeah.
first to do the two tire strategy, and it held up really well. And unfortunately, like Hamlin sweeps both stages, which that's going to be the talk of this part. But yeah, I kind of feel bad for Hamlin. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
I
After
mean,
watching the race, when I tuned in, I think there was an 80 to go because when I got home and was able to watch. And it was Chase Elliott was in the lead. He then lost the lead. We fell to third. There was a caution. And then I think shortly after that's when Hamlin's like, my power steering. And I'm like, good luck with that, man.
yeah,
Driving for the next like 30 something laps with no power steering.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's the thing. Like watching Hamlin dominate and then him not having power steerings was an impressive thing. Like he was holding on to it so well. And I was telling my wife this, if I'm a Denny Hamlin fan, I'm annoyed by this race by the end. Like overall, like solid day, nothing like I think maybe the highest points, definitely probably the highest points earner, but like it sets him up well for the Roval, but it's like you dominated the whole race only for the last restart to mess it up. It's one of those things where it's just like you want to complete the race, you want to see it to the end, and something like that happens, and it just kind of rubs you the wrong way.
oh yeah.
Um, so I feel bad for Hamlin and the fans. I also kind of feel bad for Bubba fans. I mean, you talk about I don't have really a lot of confidence in Bubba doing well at the Roval, or at least well enough to make up the
Advance.
points. But yeah, like man, this was his ticket, and he did everything right in a really cool paint scheme. Uh, the B2 bomber was flying, and talk about it like they flipped their race around. I don't know if you caught it, but like their race or their car in the first two stages, he was angry. He was not happy with it. He wasn't going anywhere. If anything, it was going backwards. And then they just I did something to it, and it came alive. And he was one of the top three cars after they did some adjustments. And the top three cars were all Toyotas. I mean, Toyota really showed up this week. Um,
Didn't get the win though.
no, I mean it kind of reminds me of like the opposite of what happened with like the Xfinity race. I mean, Chevy being the most dominant, and then a Toyota coming in and sweeping it. So
Yeah.
Toyota had their day in Xfinity, but not their day in Cup. But let's talk about the Zane Smith crash, which was pretty crazy. Wow,
Bro, we're sitting there watching the race. Like
that's
we're
not how
all
you wall
watching it.
ride, by the way. That is not the meaning of it.
No, it was funny. We're sitting there watching the race. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get ready to go. I forget where we were going. We're gonna go do something. And so we're sitting there watching the race. We're gonna go get food. And watching the race, and then all of a sudden they pan to the 38 on the wall, and I'm like,
Nope.
what? What
Sit back
happened?
down.
So that was hilarious.
I mean, yeah, the replay, the 42 just ran into him, just used him
Just
up.
drove up to the top of the track and just used them up.
That's speaking of old video games, that's literally a move I would do on NASCAR Thunder 2003. And I vividly remember because New Hampshire I would always race that because you could cut the turn four and wash up everybody and just wreck them hard. And hopefully you always hope that you can get two cars put together. That way you can sandwich them and then they just invert or like squish into each other and it would cause a really cool wreck. And that remind,
TP.
yeah, it's essentially, they would fold into each other, and it really reminded me of that. I was like, "Good Lord!"
Yeah, that was crazy. And so then it took them a few minutes to show the full accident because I'm like, how'd the 38 end up like that?
Yeah,
And then they're watching the 38 get out of the car, and then you see John Hunter and Josh Berry get into the ambulances, and I'm like, wh
Yeah.
where were they at in the accident? So I'm
And
like,
Gibbs
I need to
got
see
spun from
this.
it. Yeah, it was one of those things where like the coverage wasn't there. I mean, it was all on the
It was there,
38.
just they didn't show it for a couple minutes, but it
Yeah.
was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely a crazy wreck though. Didn't be on the highlight reels.
yeah. Set us up for another overtime finish that I think that might have been the best finish of the year.
Might be. I mean, for Chase Elliott, watching that on board footage of
He
his
started
like
like P10 with two to go.
eighth. He started
Was it eighth?
eighth. Yeah, and just great restart and yeah, just carved. He wasn't going
Yeah.
to be there without, obviously Hamlin. And this was something that was,
Without the 11 and 23 kind of
yeah,
slowing each other down, it was going to be one of them to win, but Chase, yeah, like best word used was he carved his way up there. That was awesome.
yeah, it was really cool to watch, really fun to watch. All the right moves to put himself in that position. But I was talking to my wife again. She's freaking out. And then, when she calmed down, we talked about it later, and I was like, he won with luck. But he, I also say, like, he wasn't this random out of nowhere driver. It wasn't like Brad Keselowski who finished eighth. It wasn't like, someone who wasn't there all day. He
Right.
qualified fourth, stayed in the top 10. Maybe I don't even know what his lowest position was outside of green flag pit stops, but like
He was pretty fast.
he was one of the top five cars, I would say, all day. Um, yeah, but so like he was there, and so like whenever I have these kind of finishes in NASCAR, if Joey Logano somehow got his way up to the front through some crazy strategy and won the race, everybody would come out annoyed. But like Elliott's a beloved driver, so we're not getting as much flack about that. But like also when I do look at it, it's like he got lucky, but capitalized on the luck. And yeah, I love that he was like, I'm just gonna come out of four, and if Hamlin's gonna hit me, we're just gonna hit, and
Yeah. He
really
just
just
pinned
sent,
it. He
yeah,
just freaking pinned it and was like, I'm going for it, man. Like we're
yeah.
here.
And
So
and that's becoming a conversation is should Hamlin apologize? Should he have done anything different? And from what Hamlin has said already, he's not going to apologize. And he's like, I'm also like, if I would have done anything else, it would have just been driving it a bit lower. But yeah, I don't think he needs to apologize. I mean, it was a weird situation. Um,
in the moment I told Sam, I'm like, oh, he has no power steering. He can't arc the corner like normal. It's gonna wash up some. Um, but no, I thought that was a great finish. I loved that it was any man's game. I feel for Hamlin, like you said, he had the best car. Like he was easily the best car.
yeah,
And then he has the power steering issue. He had a bad pit stop where they lost 5 spots, and he still managed to go right back to the front, trying to take the lead. Turn 3 and 4. But
yeah.
just great finish. I loved watching it. And even Sam and Ella were watching it with me, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, what a great finish! Like that was awesome." And she
Yeah.
usually doesn't get hyped, about racing. So for her to get hyped, that it was something special.
It was funny to watch because I was kind of like once I saw Hamlin wash up into the 23, because I was like, okay, it's gonna be one of these, and I was kind of hoping for Bubba because just to watch him be able to get into the round of eight would have been really cool. But like watching them get into each other was like, oh wait, Elliott was like right behind them, and I said, hold on, I like in turn between three and four, I was like, hold on, where's Elliott? And then you see him just come right through. I was like, oh, this is really fun, really cool to like that. I think that was maybe the second time I've ever like got to see my wife watch Chase Elliott win since she's really started it. Because when he won Atlanta, she was all the way in North Carolina, and she had to like
Oh,
quietly FaceTime me because she was at her sister's house with nieces and nephews asleep, and she was like, ah! She had
that's
to
cool.
really hold it in. So it was fun to get to experience that with her. And yeah, it was really, really cool. But yeah, again, I'm gonna say it one more time. Denny didn't do anything wrong. If anything, I feel bad for him. I mean, he was between a rock and a hard place in the way of like sending it, wrecking one of your own cars, or letting one of your own cars go, but then intentionally putting your teammate on the cut line, which Briscoe is on, or near at least. And so I mean, what do you do? Like
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate
It
part of being an owner and a teammate.
If you're on the track, you gotta run for the win, man.
And
Point
that's what
blank.
I agree with Hamlin. He's like, when I'm in the 11 car, I am driving
I'm
the
a
11
driver.
car. Yeah. And so I agree
Like
with him on
I
that.
obviously, if I'm Denny, I feel probably the same way. You really can't say, "Oh, I should have let him go. I should have let my one of my drivers win." Like, if you're on the track, you're running for wins. We had to talk
Mm,
about strategy last week at New Hampshire. Now that that's over, and I can willingly talk about it, our strategy going into New Hampshire with Lane and Chandler was. we're here to run our race, and Chandler's got to go out and earn the win himself.
Yeah.
The only thing we were going to plan on doing was if we are coming into turn 3 and 4, he's right behind us for stage points. We would let him go so he could get stage points to
Yeah.
accumulate towards the playoffs. But he was gonna have to earn the win. Like we were not gonna pull any punches, and that's the way racing should be.
Yeah.
And I think pretty much every driver probably thinks the same way. Like you want to, help teammates. You want to help, in Denny's case, you want to help your team that you own. But at the same time, you're paid to go out there and win races, all costs, and at the same time, Denny has no power steering, so he's doing whatever he can to wheel this thing to victory. And it just didn't work out for either of them. I think they both were kind of more pissed off that they gave the win to Chevy instead of a Toyota coming home with the
Yeah.
win. But I loved it. I think that they both handled it really well. Like Bubba didn't get out; he wasn't really pissed off. I
Bubba did
think
flip him off
he
on the
did, he
backstretch.
did.
He did him
But
on
I
the.
think. I think how they both handled it, Denny was disappointed. Bubba was a little disappointed, but he also knew that, Denny had the best car and stuff. So overall, I think a great race, great post race interviews. They didn't get out of hand. It wasn't this typical like entitled or they owe me this or that kind of
Yeah.
talk. It was like, man, I get it. It's just racing and stuff, and they seem to have handled it pretty well. So
That is a shift. I feel like, I mean, I don't quite know. I can't, I don't have the history or context enough to really say this with confidence, but like, I feel like NASCAR, maybe just racing in general at one point, was shifting towards that respectfulness, and maybe it shifted too far that way because there is a time to be respectful. I mean, let's look at last week at New Hampshire, because this was actually something I would have talked to you about last week, but you weren't there. I was all alone. Yeah, how should teammates race each other? And like you said, you being on a truck that was kind of in a situation of like, how do you support your teammate in a time of they need all the help they can get and all the support they can get, but y'all still have to run your race and without manipulating the race. And that's something where it is a balance. There's always going to be a gray area, weird situation's going to happen. But yeah, I think every driver's goal, their North Star, I think um, Steve Letarte said it pretty well. Every driver's North Star at every track should be, how can I win this weekend? And
right.
I don't want to see any race manipulation by manufacturers like we've seen. Um, and I don't want to see like teammates just slowing down for another one necessarily, especially at the end. Like that's the thing. The story's got to play out. I don't want this to become a corporate thing where I don't know. I can't speak to F1. I know that's a thing in F1 that's kind of controversial, but I don't want to see that get into NASCAR. I understand it to some extent, but yeah, I don't want to see
Yeah.
that.
I I think it goes back to some of our earlier conversations in other podcast episodes we've had about different disciplines. F1 is very team oriented. It's very
Hmm.
much there is a team driver and then there's the secondary driver of the team. And so a lot of it falls underneath who's the team driver, who's the secondary team driver. So there's team orders in that
And Max
sport
Verstappen is the secondary driver for Red Bull, right? If I
100%.
understand it right.
Yes. Yes. He is the second driver. It's not even close.
Which shout out to Max for that
Yuki Tsunoda
GT3.
is their team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? That was cool. But
Man,
yeah,
the
from
guy's a
F1 to then
monster.
NASCAR, I think a lot of to answer some of your question in a whole that happened over the last say 20, 30 years in racing, it's gotten a little bit more corporate-y. There's a lot of teams and sponsors that are investing money into these teams, and they've kind of played a role in like decision making, and it's made drivers think differently and how they answer things, how they want to go about things because they want to please sponsors.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, I feel like there's a little bit of an edge that's been lost. And the way that the racing's been done, I think, is also played into that.
Yeah.
So some of the drivers think that, you're supposed to race differently, and then there's some drivers that maybe their sponsors are a little bit more low key, go get them Tiger
Yeah.
kind of sponsor, and they have the freedom to go out and, race a little bit hard. Like, for example, you could say Ross Chastain from 2022,
Yeah.
2023, whatever season when he was just going crazy, pushing every limit he could.
Yeah.
And all that being said, it kind of slowed down. And he got to a point where he realized he was probably going to get crashed every weekend by somebody.
Yeah.
So,
That's that. Yeah, I don't envy that. balance of a driver because we're seeing that with Hocevar a little bit right now. It's like at what point do you throw it against the wall, or at what point do you rein it back in? And yeah, I don't know. I want to see that edge come back. I want to see where drivers are more selfish. I want to see what Hamlin did this weekend, where he was like, I don't care that that's my car. I don't care that this is going to affect him. He also did say, I saw a quote in his podcast where he talked about like, listen, 2311 did not have a good day at all at New Hampshire. And so he's like, I mean, am I supposed to, like, he said it pretty bluntly. I get what he's saying because as a driver, like you don't care about what that team did at New Hampshire, but like I don't know what I'm trying to say necessarily. I'm kind of losing it, but like I kind of understand his point of view, and I think he did everything right. He can only look back and say like, yeah, I wish I just would have dove in lower. Yeah, outside of that, so I think he did
Yeah,
everything right, being an owner manager or owner driver. Um, yeah, weird situation, but let's look at the top 10 so we can move on. Chase Elliott wins, great on him. Not really anybody. I mean, Bubba Wallace comes home to finish fifth, so honestly, a good day for him. Again, I really credit them for turning that day around. He was going to finish maybe mid-teens, maybe even the 20s with the way his day was going. But Larson, weird day for him. Started out
not a
really
normal
well.
Larson day.
Well, it kind of was, but it wasn't. And like I think on long runs, he would get back up to the top three of cars. Hello. Um, and it was just weird. Like he started out the race really well, but you could kind of tell if you were watching him, like I was, you could kind of tell that he was very aero sensitive. Like he would get up to a car to pass him, but like getting in that wake really messed him up and he just couldn't complete passes very well. But like on the longest run, he carved his way back through, but wasn't great on restarts, towards the end and just he would always lose spots in restarts and then have to gain them back up and like sorry. Hey, stop. Gosh. Yeah, I should put more bells on her collar. Yeah, kind of an odd day for Larson at Kansas. It wasn't horrible by any means. It was just kind of maybe a forgettable one for them statistically, but um, yeah, kind of was hoping for more. I thought, if you would have showed me the first stage, I'd be like, hey, he's got a chance. But then by the third stage, it's pretty quiet. And yeah, just never had a good restart car. Never, I always watched him on the restarts just lose a position, and it was weird.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, Elliott, to speak of another Hendrick car that was right there with him, he had a very short run car. So yeah, played in for him really well at the end. But Tyler Reddick turns his day around, comes home with a top 10. Brad Keselowski really turned his day around, qualified 31st, comes home 8th. So good for them. William Byron sneaks in. William Byron was out to lunch the whole race, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one person that stands out to me that I know was not good was the 24.
I mean,
24
credit
was
to,
running like 21st or something like that when I tuned in.
yeah.
Maybe it was high teens, and I'm like, man, that's a really
And he was like
uncharacteristic day.
legit running 21st. I mean, they threw huge setups at it from what I understand, if I remember right. Like they took time on pit road just to make a big adjustment. So yeah,
I think they
really
also
odd
did a
day for
two
them.
tire stop at the end. I think the two tire
They
stop
might have.
also gained them like 5 or 6 spots.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show the 24 team how good they are at just recovering a day. But yeah, I'm a bit skeptical on William Byron right now. Like, good thing he's got a good cushion on points, or I can't remember where he's at on points right now in the way of like how much he is above. But like, man, like that team has kind of fallen off a bit. Like they used to be top tier Hendrick driver, but I don't know. Elliott and Larson kind of maybe tied for first right now, if I was to look at the organization as a whole. But and then last driver in 10th. Really good day, really good show for Shane Van Gisbergen. And at one point, like maybe a lap or two down, had to serve a pass through penalty at the beginning of the day. Um, yeah,
Good old
really
SBG.
he's showing up at these ovals, so we'll see. But I have kind of one thing I want to like kind of comment on, and that's the potential change of the playoff format coming next year. I'm assuming you're a fan of that. I can't remember your position. We won't talk about this too long because we've talked about this generic topic, but the rumors are becoming very hot in the way of either just at least a final uh like a maybe three race championship or maybe even a full on just get rid of the playoffs format. I mean, it's kind of everywhere, but I do think something will change next year, but to what extent, I don't know. But what would you like to see?
Hmm. So yeah, I got asked this the other day. Shout out to Jeff. Sorry I didn't respond to you, buddy, but hopefully you'll listen to this and you'll hear my answer. Um, I do think you got to make an adjustment. I don't know if I have a great opinion on it. I like the idea of the playoffs, but I also don't mind the idea of the old school Winston Cup Series championship as well.
Well, here's
Um,
here's one thing I was thinking that while you're on that thought is I like the in the puristic stance of a whole season mattering. Uh, that's but mix that in with stages and the points that come with
yeah,
stages, and that's
I
the new
think that
thing that
that
I
could
think I
be.
would keep with.
I think I would be down for something very similar to that. Of do it's a full season, but stages are what really kind of help boost your points day. You can make up a lot of ground if someone has a bad day. I would love to see something like that. I don't know if I love the idea of it being 16 drivers. I think 16 is way too much. I've always kind of said that, even when it comes to other sports like baseball and football, they have so many teams that get to make the playoffs now. It's becoming more and more apparent that it's almost like a participation trophy that you get to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
And I think it kind of waters it down a little bit. I think it should it like when the Nextel Cup was a thing and it was the Sprint Cup, it was the top 10. I think that was perfect because let's be honest, by race number say 32 of 36 races, you can't sit here and tell me that the person that's running like 15th in points deserves a chance
yeah,
at a championship. Like you're not in the top three or four in points for a reason. So that's one thing I've always said that I disliked about this playoff format is it gives too many participants and it allows too many drivers to have a chance. I think, like I said, it kind of waters it down. It's like, cool, you made the playoffs, but then it's like, oh, well, how far did you go? It's like you got bounced in the first round. So it's like, really, what's the point of being there?
yeah.
And I'm not trying to like throw any shade at anybody that got bounced in the first round,
No,
like
you
Barry,
can do it.
Barry or Austin Dillon. It's one of those things that I just don't love that you get one win, especially like someone like Josh Berry. Got to win like the fourth race of the year at Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Got to kind of coast the rest of the year because he's locked in. And granted, he had bad luck at Darlington and
horrible luck at all of them, just all of them.
what was the Bristol? Yeah, they were all like New Hampshire. I think he finished good in New Hampshire, but I'm trying to think of what the race was in between
He did
Darlington
really good
and
in New Hampshire. Almost won it. I mean, he probably would have won it if he hadn't had the spin. But yeah, no, I mean, no, the first round of 16, he finished last in every race. So
yeah. So I mean, like I said, it just kind of it makes it to this point of like you were in a certain position for a reason. If you're gonna do the playoffs this way, I think you got to do it lower, do like 12 cars and eliminate some, but then maybe do like a three race playoff at the end to where it's say five cars. So give it one extra car to be in the last three races. Um, I don't know if I have an exact answer on it. I would love to sit down and really be in a good like think tank with some people on some ideas. I think that the stage points and wins and fastest lap should account to something, but I don't think that a win should just automatically put you in the postseason.
yeah,
Um, so all that being said, I'm cool with kind of whatever comes up. I genuinely don't love that it's a one race championship take all thing. It's just it doesn't fit NASCAR in my opinion. I like
no,
the idea of it being a full season kind of highlights who the champion is. It kind of adds some credibility into the championship. I feel like, and I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody that's won in the current playoff format. I just feel like the whoever's won a championship in this format, it's almost got some lackluster feel to it because you
absolutely.
came down and you won one race or you came in second in one race and you were appointed the champion. And I don't love that. Like if you were able to make it to the round of eight, all you had to do is have a win in Martinsville and then go out and win Phoenix or come in like second or third at the worst and you're the champion. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's a stretch.
Well, even like, so there have been legitimate champions in the playoff system. We can't deny that. But then there have also been some like, okay, you really just it's hard to look at Logano's win last year. It's like, okay, he really turned it on during the playoffs, kind of. I mean, he was eliminated at one point. And he's kind of doing that again this year, just turning it on when he needs to, which is fine. Like that's a way to do it, and it's annoying to all of us, but we have to admit that like they can do that. That the playoffs gives that room. As annoying as it is, and like it does kind of. when I try to introduce people who don't know much about NASCAR to it right now, the playoff system to me just doesn't work in NASCAR very well because there's so many variables. There's not a consistent every week, like kind of like football. It's the same structure game, same field or same like the fields don't change. I mean, you might change home games and stuff, but like it's still football. They're not playing on a shorter field, a longer field, whatever. Um, and so, like, when I look at that stuff, like NASCAR just has such a diversity to it in the way of how every race goes. I mean, obviously, we look at Penske's or even Joe Gibbs right now this year at the tracks we're going to go to at the end of the year. I'm like, yeah, if a Hendrick car is there at the end, I'm not going to pick him because, like, statistically, JGR and Penske are just great at that style of track. And that's what has always bothered me. So I do like if we're going to keep the playoffs, adjust it to a longer end. I love Dale Jr.'s point of like, okay, so we have like kind of four styles of track. Let's run four races on this style. I don't know what that would look like. That's just me talking perfect world. I think a good compromise would be go back to the chase kind of style with 10 people in like the chase for it all, which is really cool. I would like to see that, but and when I look at it, I kind of agree with Christopher Bell. If we're going to look at the most purest part to actually reward the person who had the best season, it would be a span of all the races. The whole season matters, not because the regular season does kind of feel a bit lackluster after it's done. It's kind of like, okay, well, that was fun. Um, don't get me wrong, the playoffs have a lot of good things, a lot of fun things. But I am actually like I was thinking about this the other day because I don't know much about the Winston Cup system, just that whole season. I am so curious what it would be like with stage racing because I actually want to keep that. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think when I look at younger generations, stage racing helps with attention span, kind of helps keep some track. I know it's not the best thing, but let's look at compromises here. Um, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm kind of whatever on them, honestly, but it kind of makes some stuff kind of fun, and it can kind of give some ease to like being a fan. You're like, okay, at least my driver got good stage points. I actually told my wife that when Chase and Larson and
True.
then we're having like good finishes during the stages and stage three started, I said, hey, if they wreck right now, just know that they had a good day points wise, so next week is fine.
I
Uh,
mean, honestly, to play devil's advocate to your point,
how dare you? I'm gonna
the
play Jesus advocate
playoffs,
here.
the
I don't know what that
playoffs
looks like.
works. It works great in the favor of us with the 34 truck because Corey Haim's been the best
Yeah, that's
truck
true.
for the most part, but we're so hopeful when we can get to Phoenix. If we can make it to the Final Four, we've got a shot.
Yeah,
So there is that flip of the coin for us that I enjoy the playoffs for that. But at the same time, part of me would feel some kind of way unless we get another win or two. Like it would be like, man, like everyone's gonna run around saying the 11 should have been the winner.
yeah,
Like it's for us, it's y'all don't really deserve it. It's just the playoff format. So some of me feels some kind of way when I think about that. But at the same time, this is the given rules and this is how it's played, and all you gotta do is make it to the final four. So,
yeah. We can't be
um,
too mad at like obviously you can't be mad at the winners. You can only be mad at NASCAR for just enforcing this. But to me, like I was telling again, my wife, I kind of was talking about her with this the other week, but like not every season can be this historic season. And I feel like they're trying to do that, obviously, with parity on the playoffs. And to me, it's just like not every season can be that. If anything, you're kind of losing historic seasons by Kevin Harvick going out and winning 8 races and not even winning
didn't
the
make the
champion.
final four.
Potentially, we said this with Tyler Mon. I mean, Larson was so close to having this crazy historic season that they still tout today as look at what this driver did. Um, and yeah, almost like the system actually almost took it away from him. And so I think, with someone like Heim or someone like Zillage, if we're on that full season format, we have a superstar of that year. This person is killing it to such a point that they're able. I mean, look at Max Verstappen, killed it to such a point. It's still memorable. Now, granted, Max Verstappen won at 8, and my goodness, crazy amount of races. I mean, 98% of the races, and so that's definitely talked about. If he won 60% of the
Oh, and
races,
I'm really proud of you for starting to know some F1 talk.
I mean, it's hard not to know Max Verstappen when if you're just like dipping your toe into racing in general, Max Verstappen
The
is the
dude
first.
is
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, yeah, he's insane. He's an absolute monster. I really want to see what he does in NASCAR because like
Good luck. I don't
it's
think he's coming.
I mean, he's got to retire out of F1 first. He barely is getting into the GT3 stuff. But yeah, he's a monster and I just like him I've really come to like him when you really look at him. Like he's a cool guy. He's just so
He just
just
wants to go race
he
cars.
does
He literally
not
does
care that
not
he
want
makes
to do
50 million a year.
he does not want to he doesn't care about anything else other than like
No.
driving race cars.
It's so
And
opposite of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis
it
Hamilton wasn't a
shows
jerk, but he's just luxury.
Lewis has got style, he's got a lot of flair. He cares about a lot of other things. And Max is like, give me my sim and give me my car,
Yeah.
and that's all I care about.
Yeah. He's insane. Yeah. But let's wrap up this because we're just probably going to talk in a circle. But for me, I'm just saying if we're going to go to a full season, that's my choice. Full season, keep the stage racing. I want to see what that mixture is like. But yeah, that's I think how we have a long run of a good superstar thing because it's hard for me to give credibility to some stuff that happens in the playoffs.
Right.
But let's get into our predictions for next week at the Roval.
Okay.
We have a full weekend with all three series.
All
Um,
three of them.
yeah. Who's your outside of Lane? Who do you think has a
Ooh.
good chance? Keep in mind, Zilich is in this. He's in the seven, I
All right.
think,
So you know I'm
or is
going with us in the
yeah.
34.
And you have a great chance. You're pretty good at Rook. I think
I'll
you're
pick
sneaky.
I'll pick Zilich to win Saturday for Xfinity. And then for the Cup race, that's where it gets interesting. Um,
So you have Riggs Trucks, Zilich Xfinity.
yeah, and
Now
then
you have a SVG in the Cup, which is a hard thing to bet against. But the mixture here is you have desperate drivers in the
yeah, I
mix.
don't know. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to touch. I'm gonna go Allmendinger in the Cup Series.
I don't know.
They've
Colin is
shown
kind
some
of falling
speed.
off. They have, but they haven't shown complete
Darlington, they were
races.
really fast. And this is a road course.
They
AJ
were
does love road courses.
they were doing well at Kansas until I think they got caught up in some wreck. I want to say it was the 42-38 wall ride wreck. Um, yeah.
Skateboarding.
So you're gonna say Allmendinger on the
Going
Cup.
Allmendinger.
So Riggs, Zilich, Allmendinger. I'm going in the trucks. I'm always going to root for Lane Riggs, but to be a bit different, I'm actually going to go Parker Kligerman.
Okay.
He showed a lot of
Not a
good.
good pick.
What?
Not a good pick.
He's a road course guy.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, he almost won last year in the 48 car. I mean, that was Xfinity, but like he had a pretty good shot. In the Xfinity, though, I'm going Sam Mayer because again,
Okay.
I'm looking at desperation more than I am anything else, especially in this Xfinity series. Like we know how they can get. Um, and I think these sharp turns, these high braking turns are going to be a mess at towards the end of the race. So
Yeah.
Zilich and SVG might just be collateral damage in the chaos. So Mayer and Xfinity and Cup, I'm going Reddick for the same reason.
Going Tyler Reddick.
I think Reddick's got some fire under him. I think the team is going to get a bit like I think you put him under fire. Like he's a good road course racer.
Okay.
He hasn't won the Roval, I don't think, but again, just his road course skill and desperation is a good mixture. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. That
Well, our cousin Dana said,
hello, Dana.
she says, 48 is twice as 24, so maybe double the chance of winning.
That shows that
So
she's been in the school system way too long that she remembers how to do math.
don't ask Sam to do math.
Yeah. Don't
She
ask.
says, hey,
Yeah. Uh, but anyways, that does it for the week.
good
Yeah.
episode. Thank you, NASCAR, for giving us some great content to talk about.
Thank you, Kansas, for being
Yeah,
a good
thank you,
track.
Kansas.
Yeah, it's so funny. People are like, "Where's the track at this week?" I'm like, "Kansas," and I am looking forward to it. And they're like, "Not Daytona." I was like, "No, Kansas is one of the top tier tracks this year." Um, yeah.
Dana says it shows I know your original love of Jeff Gordon in the number 24. That's true.
What are you talking about? I don't. What's she
Yeah,
saying?
cool mug.
Don't know. Yeah, what are we talking about here? But anyways, yeah. Good luck next week, both in the truck and Xfinity.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
yeah, man. I'll see you later.
Heck yeah, man. Catch you
10
later.
away. 5, 4, 3,